Welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you're watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. So, I've got an update video for you guys regarding the Baltic Sea. Yesterday, I talked to you about some underwater cables running from Finland over to Germany. There was a cable that was severed completely, and we also had another underwater fiber optic cable running from Sweden over to Lithuania. Okay, this is inside the Baltic Sea that was damaged. Okay, so I have some reports to go over today and some updated information to share with you on what's going on with this situation. As we have this report here on your screen, Germany's defense minister says Baltic Sea cables damage is confirmed as sabotage. Okay, so they are coming out and saying after investigating that this is confirmed to be a sabotage event. Now, the question is, who did this? Okay, so I will let you know, I have not been able to find this information on any mainstream news, but on independent sources on X, they are claiming that this could have been a Chinese vessel that was traversing through these waters in the Baltic Sea. And right around the time that these cables were cut, I think it was somewhere around 2 a.m. in the morning, just the other day, right around the same time that this vessel was moving through this area where these cables got cut, the vessel apparently slowed down quite a bit just prior to the same timing of these cables being cut. So I'll show you guys that information. But again, mainstream news is not reporting this. All we're really seeing from mainstream news, the main report that we have is confirmed to be sabotage, according to the German defense minister, Boris Pistorius, here on the screen. And then also, apparently a new updated report is claiming that the cable that originally came from Sweden over to Lithuania, what we heard yesterday was it was only damaged. Well, looks like now it has been completely severed as well. Okay, so we have two major fiber optic data cables running from Finland over to Germany, also Sweden over to Lithuania, two completely separate cables being damaged and destroyed. So this is very big news. I want to get you guys some more information on this report. First, I want to show you this report from AP. And the reason why we're going to go over this is I want you guys to see how mainstream news, based on the information I have been searching for on different mainstream news articles, nobody is really talking about the fact that there could be a Chinese vessel involved. So very interesting. Okay, so it says here, damage to Baltic undersea cables appears to be sabotage. Germany's defense minister says, there's a picture of him right here, Boris Pistorius. Germany's defense minister said Tuesday, officials have to assume damage to two data cables under the Baltic Sea, one of which ends in Germany, was caused by sabotage, though he said they have no proof at present. Damage was detected Monday to the Sea Lion 1 cable that runs nearly 1,200 kilometers from Finland's capital, Helsinki, to the German port city of Rostock. Another cable between Lithuania and Sweden was also damaged. Okay, so we see here damaged, okay, that this cable was damaged yesterday, the one from Lithuania and Sweden. Well, it also says here, speaking in Brussels, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that Russia poses not just a military, but also a hybrid threat, and that Europe needs to take a broad approach to defense. He said the damage to two cables was a clear sign that something is afoot. No one believes these cables were severed by mistake, and I also don't want to believe versions that it was anchors that by chance caused damage to these cables, he said at a regular meeting of European Union defense ministers. Okay, so he's claiming this was not any kind of anchor dragging along the floor from a ship going through this area that may have damaged the cables, that he believes they were damaged deliberately. So we have to state without knowing in concrete terms who it came from that this is a hybrid action. Also, we have to assume, without already knowing it, obviously, that this is sabotage. The foreign ministries of Finland and Germany have already said Monday evening that the damage raised suspicion of sabotage. They said in a joint statement that the damage comes at a time that our European security is not only a threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors. The statement said the countries were investigating the incident and that it was crucial that such critical infrastructure be safeguarded. On Tuesday, Swedish police said they had launched a preliminary investigation into suspected sabotage regarding the two cable breaches, though they said the classification of the suspected offense may change. Okay, so maybe later they might come out and say it wasn't sabotage, but according to Boris Pistorius right now, it looks like they are claiming that this for sure was some sort of sabotage event on these cables. Now I want to hop over to X and show you guys some information over here. I'm also going to show you the clip of him stating that this is sabotage. So Anton Gerashenko, 2 undersea internet cables in the Baltic Sea have been disrupted by sabotage. German Defense Minister Pistorius said, a very clear sign that something is going on there. No one believes that these cables were accidentally damaged, and I don't want to believe in the versions that anchors are to blame. So we have to conclude, without knowing who did that this is a hybrid action. And we also have to assume, without knowing, of course, that this is sabotage, the German minister said. Okay, so we're going to have a 39-second clip of him speaking regarding this and claiming that this was sabotage and a hybrid act. Okay, take a look.
Das zeigen übrigens gerade zuletzt auch wieder die beiden beschädigten Datenkabel in der Ostsee zwischen Helsinki und Rostock und Schweden und Litauen. Ein ganz klares Zeichen, dass hier etwas im Gange ist. Niemand glaubt, dass diese Kabel aus Versehen durchtrennt worden sind. Und ich mag auch nicht an Versionen glauben, dass das Anker waren, die zufällig über diesen Kabeln, wie soll ich sagen, Schaden angerichtet haben. Von daher müssen wir konstatieren, ohne konkret zu wissen, von wem es kommt, dass es sich um eine hybride Aktion handelt. Und wir müssen auch davon ausgehen, ohne es schon zu wissen, versteht sich, dass es sich um Sabotage handelt. Das zeigen übrigens gerade.
Okay, there you go. So him coming out stating that this is an act of sabotage and hybrid action. Okay, so this was deliberately caused to these 2 cables being cut in the Baltic Sea. Now the big question is, how will NATO respond to this? Is this an act of war? Is it not an act of war? Let me know what you think down below, but this is definitely very big news, and I want to give you some more information regarding this, okay? So from Vicegrad24, this was coming out earlier this morning, breaking another submarine telecom cable has been cut in the Baltic Sea. This time it's a cable between Sweden and Lithuania. Yesterday, the news broke that a cable between Finland and Germany had been cut. Okay, so this is just to confirm that yesterday we talked about this red cable here, okay, the one that runs from Helsinki and Hanko, from Finland, excuse me, all the way over to Germany, Rostock, Germany, okay? This is the original one that was reported as being cut. Yesterday, we were hearing that the one from Sweden over to Lithuania had been damaged, okay? We didn't hear any confirmed reports that it was cut. Well, it looks like now we have that information as of today that both of these cables were completely cut, not just damaged, like was being reported with this blue cable from Sweden over to Lithuania. Okay, so also from Vicegrad24 breaking, the Chinese ship Yipeng is the main suspect in the investigation into who cut 2 undersea telecom cables between Finland and Germany and Sweden and Lithuania. The ship sailed right over the cables when they were cut at 8 a.m. GMT on Sunday and 2 a.m. GMT on Monday. Okay, so here's another picture that we were just looking at a moment ago. And I believe the cables got cut right in this area right here, right about where they cross, was supposedly where they were cut at. And again, the information here from independent sources on X indicating that this was a Chinese ship, the Yipeng. Okay, so we'll talk about that some more. I've got more updates discussing this. So look at this as well from Max24. The Chinese vessel Yipeng is the main suspect in the investigation into the cutting of 2 submarine cables between Finland and Germany and Sweden and Lithuania, according to Reuters. The Chinese vessel suspected of cutting the submarine cables docked in Russia 4 days ago. So apparently, yeah, Reuters did report about this information, but for the most part, a lot of mainstream news is really not talking about this. It's mostly just talking about the German defense minister coming out stating this was an act of sabotage. But if you notice here, it does claim that this information states that this Chinese vessel suspected of cutting the submarine cables docked in Russia 4 days ago. So very interesting that this Chinese bulk carrier was docked in Russia just prior to traversing through the Baltic Sea, and then we had these cables being damaged. Now, the reason why I think that's interesting is just a few days ago, I'd say roughly about a week ago actually, we heard from a Russian politician, Nikolai Patrushev. He was claiming that NATO was preparing to blow up underwater sea cables, okay, and potentially maybe blame it on Russia or blame it on a Western enemy, who knows. But very interesting that we heard that information just about a week ago, which we talked about this yesterday. And then all of a sudden, now we have these cables being destroyed in the Baltic Sea. So what is actually going on over here? Let me know what you think down below. Also from Vicegrad24, the Chinese vessel Nunu Polar Bear destroyed the undersea gas pipeline Baltic connector between Finland and Estonia last year. Okay, understand this, a Chinese vessel, okay, Nunu Polar Bear. Then also, Y-Day, the Chinese vessel Yipeng destroyed two telecom cables connecting Finland, Germany, and Sweden, Lithuania. The West can't pretend nothing is going on. Okay, so is this China deliberately doing this? Did this have something to do with Russia because this bulk carrier actually docked inside of Russia recently? What is actually happening here? But this is definitely a very crazy story that's beginning to develop right now. And take a look at this from Vicegrad24. Also, breaking strong evidence indicating that the Chinese bulk carrier Yipeng destroyed two undersea telecom cables connecting Finland and Germany and Sweden, Lithuania. A Danish Navy vessel is shadowing Yipeng right now. She's trying to leave the Baltic Sea, board the ship. So this was actually being reported earlier this morning around 4:43 a.m. That would be Pacific Standard Time where I'm at. And apparently this boat was coming through here. So Finland would have been up in this area up here on the northern side of the Baltic Sea. And the ship was traversing. If you notice in this area, it was traveling 6 to 11 knots, okay? Once it got to the area where these cables would have been cut at, look how it went down to speeds of 3 to 6 knots, okay? And then once it started to pull away, 10 to 1 knots, okay, in this area, and then also 9 to 1, and then obviously it was ending up over here somewhere near Denmark, okay? So very interesting, okay? And it says up here, Yifeng 3, IMO number 9224984, slower speeds, strange maneuver matching times of Sea Line 1 and BSC cable breaks. Okay, so right about in this area where it was starting to slow down, is that possibly indicating that this ship was deliberately trying to target these undersea cables and destroy them? Let me know what you think down below, but that is pretty insane news. Finally, one last thing also that came out from War Monitor as well earlier this morning. 3 Danish Navy ships are converging on the Chinese vessel suspect of cutting communication cables right now. Now, I have not heard any updates as of yet. Currently today, on the date of November 19th, 2024, if we have heard this ship being boarded or anything like that, or if it has been stopped by the Danish Navy. I don't have that information as of yet, but as soon as I get some information like that, I will definitely update you guys on that. But this is definitely a very wild story that is beginning to develop right now. And the big question here again is if NATO can find out that China was involved with this, or maybe even Russia, and they actually get proof, what will happen next? Let me know what you think down below. Share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.